I'm ready.
Okay. So now you're off the ground. You're waiting on that patent, and you're not waiting much longer to get it all completed.
I'm not waiting either way. When it comes, it comes. I can't control the speed of the patent office, but what I can control is trying to get NogginLOC on a player before he puts that helmet back on his head. So.
Excellent. So finally, where do you see NogginLOC going? Where do you see it in 5 years or 10 years? Do you see it on every Major League Football team's player's helmet? Where do you want it to go?
I'd love to, and I've talked to some folks this year about, I want to see it on the Super Bowl. I want to be able to point to a player on the Super Bowl and say that person is willing to protect his head and his family, and he wants NogginLOC, and he called and he put one on his helmet. I would love just to know that we've gotten to the top by seeing NogginLOC on an NFL player in the Super Bowl. I'd love to put on an NFL player tomorrow. But I'm learning in this market that it's sort of who you know. You know, that Alan's a little guy working in this little basement outside of Richmond, Virginia, and I'm not in the networks of people at the NFL. Now you would think, well, gee, we had the Redskins training ground here. We had press all over the place running around that same time. Phone never rang. We've contacted the NFL. We've contacted the Players Association. We've contacted the Washington Redskins. But an email coming from Alan Bancroft in his laboratory is not like some other, famous player endorsing it. So, to me, I don't think it's ego. I just know if you put this on your helmet, it will help keep that helmet on your head. I'd love to see it on every helmet 2 years from now. I'd like to see it on every helmet tomorrow. Right now the only thing I can control is, going to these local high schools, demonstrating it, and then hopefully they get it in their budget. If I had bottomless resources, I would show up and I would say, put this on your athletes, put this on your athletes, and put this on your athletes. And then we'd go a whole different marketing approach. But unfortunately, that's not the way this works, right? So the best we can do right now is hopefully we can get some publicity out there, let people know that we're what we're doing. We even applied to go to Shark Tank. We made it to the third round. And the hope there was, well, let's get on Shark Tank, bring this to the Sharks, demonstrate what we have, and say we need capital so we can build these and either give them to these schools and protect the younger athletes, with the hope that the older athletes that have the wherewithal to pay for a NogginLOC at $44, if that's going to break them, and then start just getting this marketing done. And we didn't make it past the third round, so here we sit. So we're just doing it on our own right now.
Well, thank you, sir, and I hope and wish you extreme success in this endeavor. I
appreciate that, and I hope we can take a minute. We'll just demonstrate some of these for you. If you're ready to do that, we can do that.
Yep. I'm going to do that now.
So you want to film some of this?
Yeah. You got it on there?
Sure.
I'm going with this now. Actually, I'm just going to keep that running.
Yeah, go for it. So let me just do a little bit of housekeeping here. So this is by the way, this is a brand new football helmet. It doesn't matter the manufacturer. They all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take a chin strap, and if you're not familiar, this is a typical strap and buckle. This is the female part of that. This is what you buy. This is what's been out there since 1896. And this is sort of the male pin that has a little screw, and it just bolts through the helmet. So when you see people fastening these straps onto the helmet, they're snapping them on there. Now, just a side note, when you think about a little kid even trying to put this on their bicycle, they actually can't snap these. As a father of two growing up, Mom, Dad, come snap my helmet on. So this is what is holding all their brains in this helmet. So let me just demonstrate something. So watch your toes.
Try to get him in there as well.
So what I'm going to show you is this. Like I said, this has never seen grass. This has never been put on any player's heads, but this is the amount of force it takes to remove this chin strap from this helmet. And I'm gonna try and let go without it even coming off. All right. Then I'm just gonna give it the slightest most tug, and that slightest most tug is probably 100 times less than they're gonna get hit playing football. Mm-hmm. So this is what I bought a helmet. I was like, whoa, gee, how can that even work in real life? So, now if we take the other approach, NogginLOC, I'll show you a little close-up. So NogginLOC is a fastening system, and I'll show you on a production helmet, that has a male pin that bolts to the same place the helmet was, or the other fastener was. And so here you can see if I give it equivalent tug of like I did a minute ago, but I can also swing this around, and this is just one fastener, by the way. Obviously these chin straps have 4 of them connected. You can do this all day long, and this thing's never going to come off. Now, a child could do that and release it.
Wow.
That's how simple it is.
And what are you doing there to release that? Is it just
It's a plunger.
just a pull up?
Yep, just a pull-up. And it's equally just a push on. Or if you want to sort of look at the production, pushes on, pulls off. So what we did, being sensitive to the youth markets that aren't going to be buying new helmets, we developed a kit that completely replaces, this is a production kit. You get on the website, and you order what we call the starter kit. You get, now once again, it's not the chin strap, it's not the helmet, it's just the components. So you get a buckle that weaves through your existing chin strap. You get a male pin and a special attaching fastener in the back that this doesn't spin or come out. And then there's also what we call a high mount here, which you might see some helmets where they may rivet the chin strap to the top of the helmet, but then you can never adjust it. So if it gets loose, what do they do in the middle of a game? They just run with it loose because you can't just. So this gives me the ability to actually adjust this throughout the game. But typically you'll adjust this, and you'll be good for the game. If you need to make a slight adjustment, you can do it down here in the lower buckle. And they snap that on, and that's not coming off at all. And it's unfortunately, I can just tell you, it's very stupid simple. But effective.
And that's the point. That's all. That's the purpose of this invention here. Is you're trying to prevent the helmet from coming off.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to claim that I know anything, that I developed a shell or a face mask or, a chin strap. You buy the kind you want. And if I show you individual components sort of up close, what you may notice is we actually make a weaving mechanism that really allows that strap to weave through. A lot of professional helmets right now just have sort of, I'll show you. They just weave it through one time. Mm-hmm. Of course, I could pull that out. You hold one and I hold the other, and I'll slide that buckle right off there. But they expect this to be good enough, and to me, that's not good enough. So we actually developed. There's actually 72 little notches in there, if you look very, very, very closely, that allow that a certain way we pull that chin strap through there. So when it's on there, it's going to really, really bite in and not pull off. Same thing on the sort of the high mount, and there's a certain reason why we do 2 in 1, but this is also a patented idea. That we've applied for, not only just the NogginLOC, the second part's all the buckles. So these weave through in a particular way that gives you the nice low profile here. So if somebody does get their hand on the helmet, they're not going to be caught on anything. But once again, gives you the ability to adjust that. So these are the type of components that that we're talking about, and they're machined to very tight tolerances to do what we need to do, and that's that.
That's simple. That's stupid simple.
Stupid simple. Yeah. Then the same thing here. So, if we get outside the bicycle realm for the helmet, football helmet, same thing here. Same buckle, same thing. Very easy to disconnect. But if I want to put this on my child, this is not going to come off at all. But at the same time, they can actually take that off, and they very easily can push it on. If you take it a step farther, now these would be a little bit more lower profile, but not that I wouldn't necessarily recommend NogginLOC for motorcycles running out on the street, because if you do fall off, you don't want anything to be able to grind off or break off on the asphalt. But if you think about stock car races, and anytime you're actually in a cocoon or in a buggy or something like that, where it's very, very difficult. And think of this as a kid's bike too, where you're trying to you're fumbling because you can't see what you're doing. I formerly used to race cars, and you'd be in there with your gloves on trying to buckle your helmet. So you can set this to whatever you want. NogginLOC's installed, or you can just disconnect it. So there's other markets that one could use that for. Pick a helmet, pick a chin strap. In this case, we weave things through. It's a different type of buckle per se, but whatever the attachment strap is, we will make a buckle to make that. But you asked earlier about where do we make these parts? So I get some of these parts made, some of them I machine here. Right now, when we start getting the higher volume, we'll farm them out to somebody here in the United States to make us tens of thousands at a time. Maybe to assemble them, or maybe we'll assemble them here. But, not very difficult.
Yeah. Now, you said your target audience right now is just those high schools, those local places that can take on these fastening systems. You said that for those regular helmets, use just a snap-on type of thing. Can you demonstrate when they get these fastening systems, how do they just put it right onto that helmet they already own, like here at James River?
So at James River, if I kind of, well, we can sort of do a quick sort of an experiment here. So the James River equipment manager. Here's a traditional chin strap fastener. They would unscrew this. I just sort of, these pads sort of pop out. So if I was to demonstrate to you, if I was waiting outside a line at the football game, you unscrew, those are traditional fasteners. You would take a NogginLOC fastener, you put it in the same hole. We don't drill holes, we don't do anything. NogginLOC comes with a wrench, it's an 8mm fastener. You would tighten those two down, and then you can imagine just slipping on. Basically you would, where's this other buckle here? It's very easy to take this off because it's only woven through there 2 times. You unweave this, which I'll demonstrate. This is how quickly this happens. You take that off, and you would take our counter piece to this, and you weave. There's a little, and this comes with instructions. It's not magical, but you weave it through a particular way. And typically, what we do, the equipment manager would have the player hold the helmet on their head, and they'd hold the chin strap to where it's comfortable, right? So while that's happening, the equipment manager, we did this with the Tucker folks. They weave this through and they adjust it. Is that tight? Oh, a little loose, a little tighter. Okay, does it feel good? Yep, it doesn't move. You can still move your teeth. Yeah, you can get your mouth guard in. Yep, all good. Helmet tight. Yep, good. Then they weave this through. And there's a double fold over here. You can see how many times we're making sure that will not come off.
Move.
And once that's tightened, you have just installed NogginLOC.
I mean, that was less
you would
than
do it
2
at,
minutes.
you would do it in, you would do the other side and you do the high mounts too. But that's exactly what happens. With the high mounts, same thing. You would screw this through the helmet. You'd weave it through, get it adjusted. Yep, feel good. You tighten this down, done. And once you tighten these down, usually we're not going to be adjusting these because the fine tuning adjustment is going to happen in the lower. What was interesting after 2 solid weeks and 2 football games with the James River, I shouldn't say James River, the Tucker High School players. The equipment manager told me Friday night, we haven't adjusted it since you were there Tuesday night when we put them on the first time. It was 2.5 weeks earlier. And I thought, they didn't adjust anything? Haven't touched them. Wonderful. So when you asked earlier about stretch and how much do you have to mess with it, get your equipment manager to fit your helmet because you can do it yourself, but they know what they're looking for. They're trained to do that, and it's really simple. You get a little bag of parts, you get instructions with me, pictures showing exactly what I just showed you, and you get them over the internet or through the mail.
So $44.
$44.95 is what they retail for right now on the internet.
2 minutes.
Yeah, if I gave you 5 minutes, right? Just because someone's never done this before, but an equipment manager, the guy that we train how to do it, he could probably do it his whole fleet in probably 5 minutes a helmet, something like that.
Yeah, that's simple. Just to reduce the risk for a helmet coming off, reduce the damage of a hit.
Put those on, your helmet's not coming off.
Excellent. That's it. Thank you, sir. That was a lot there. It's really cool how just that simple, well, not simple for us, or for you, but simple for us.
I understand. Yeah.
Creation and innovation. There's just one snap, and there you go. And it's been in the news so often. You talk about, or they're talking about football head injuries and concussions, and just the fact that the helmet doesn't come off reduces that dramatically. I feel like I'm sure the statistics will come out when this gets more profiled and bigger and bigger.
Yep. So we've actually this week been contacted by the NFHS, which is the National Federation for High School Sports. It's the regulatory agency run out of Indianapolis that basically write all the rules for all sports nationwide. They send us an email saying, hey, we just came across NogginLOC. People have been talking to us about this. Would you be willing to send us a helmet at the end of November, 20th of November? They're having a big meeting with their decision makers, and they want to take a look at NogginLOC and make sure that NogginLOC fits within the rules with what they've written. So of course I ask, well, does that mean you're going to change the rules? So we're going back and forth on that, but we certainly will be sending them a helmet so they can evaluate it. We're putting it on their players right now, regardless of approved or not, because it's better than what they have an option to use now. So we're excited about that because I think now, even at that national level, sort of the first outside of Richmond, or Sweden, I guess you can call outside, but it's really the first big organization that says, hey, you may have something, and let's get together and make sure this thing is regulated in a way that any high school coach can pick up and read the rules. Oh, NogginLOC approved. No, that's just one more step easier that they don't have to call. Hey, can I use this other fastener system this guy's selling? So we're excited about that.
So the possibilities for the expansion of NogginLOC is nearly limitless. I mean, depending on the organization you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, you asked earlier. The high school is certainly one market. The NFL, if you think about, well, I mean, you get hard hits even in youth. If you go to a youth game, I went and watched an 8-year-old game the other day, and if you just hit the right way, you'd be like, oh God! As a parent, you hold, everyone's like, ah. There's equal. I mean, there's hard hits in the youth. I saw hard hits Friday night at the Tucker Deer Run game. And you certainly will watch football this weekend, and you'll see hard hits, and you'll see them tonight, right? Yeah. So for me, I think equally we need to get this on the NFL players as well. You will see a helmet come off in the football game tonight if you watch.
Definitely.
All right.
All right.